This ends here and now! Take you evil beast! Prepare to taste my paws of
Much has been said about how Yokai Watch has become a phenomenon in Japan. This has created plenty of comparisons to Pokemon because of both its sheer popularity and the mechanic of finding and collecting monsters. But after putting plenty of time into Yokai Watch, the comparison doesn't really hold. Level 5's breakout hit is something very different. What's unclear is whether it has the capability of becoming a global success. The story centers around the player wandering into a mysterious forest in search of rare bugs for a school report. There, he or she discovers a stone gacha machine that beckons to be fed. Once the coin is placed inside, the yokai butler Whisper is released and introduces the player to the world of yokai. While it never clarifies what a yokai actually is, they are explained to be invisible to human eyes and able to affect the emotions of the people they're around. The player is now able to see these yokai and interact with them thanks to the titular Yokai Watch. The thing is, it's a long time until any kind of overarching plot develops. Most of the time, it involves a yokai causing some kind of mischief, while the player and Whisper work together to solve the problem. Oftentimes this involves defeating the yokai causing the trouble or befriending a new yokai to help out. But this never really became an issue for me because Yokai Watch is dripping with personality. The writing is incredibly amusing with humorous asides and even some more adult references. There are some genuinely funny moments and you quickly come to like the characters. It became fun to see what new yokai they would encounter next and the hijinks that would ensue. But the gameplay is where Yokai Watch excels. As you travel around the city of Springdale, the watch will show where yokai are hiding. This can be in trees, under parked cars, in the grass, or even out in the open in back alleys or the sewers. A meter in the top right corner swings farther to the right the closer you are. When you take a look at whatever's nearby, you're guaranteed to come across a yokai. As you progress in the game, you'll be given the ability to upgrade the watch and find even more powerful yokai. This is done effortlessly by displaying the rank near the meter. As long as you keep an eye on the rank, players can tell where searching an area is worthwhile or not. Yet even if a yokai isn't nearby, it's still worth exploring these areas as they can contain items, bugs, and fish depending on the location. The bugs and fish can be exchanged for rare items, making exploration a constantly rewarding aspect of the game. The battles are also quite different. You never have direct control over your yokai. Instead, each one has 4 abilities: a regular attack, a special technique, a ultimate move, and an in-spirit. Regular attacks and techniques are analogous to physical and magical abilities respectively, while the ultimate move is a special attack that must be charged first. It's also the only move the player has direct control of, though it requires a short series of inputs in order to activate. The ultimate move is charged via Spirit. Spirit is gained either by using items or directing the yokai to attack an inspirited enemy. And this is where the in-spirit move comes in. Each yokai can inspirit either their allies for various positive effects, or the enemy for negative effects. If the enemy is inspirited, then attacking them will reward your yokai with a massive spirit boost. The yokai also never gain new attacks, instead powering up their existing ones as they're used in battle. There's a surprising amount of tactics that can be utilized in choosing the best team. Different tribes have different battle styles, and each yokai in that tribe has a different set of moves for that style. And this is expanded further thanks to the various attitudes which determine what kind of fighter the yokai is. It leaves a ton of room for experimentation and tactics without ever becoming that confusing. In fact, I only focused on having yokai that could attack, defend, and heal each other effectively, and rarely experienced trouble progressing. While the yokai do fight without any input from the player, I still had a surprising amount of responsibility. I had to determine the best time to use each yokai's ultimate move, since it could have a variety of effects as well, ranging from attacking all enemies or healing your entire active party. Then there's the target option, which directs yokai to focus their attack on a specific enemy. The purify option is for when your yokai become inspirited themselves. They must be rotated into the back row in order to perform a minigame which both heals them of its effects and grants bonus experience points. And simply rotating your lineup to best handle the situation can keep you on your toes. Never have I had so little control of a battle, yet still influence enough that I felt like I was in control, or at least an active participant. The final option players have in battle is using items, and it's arguably the most important. While this is how you can heal your party, it's also how you befriend enemy yokai. Healing comes in the form of various foods, and each yokai has a food type that they prefer, so players have to use their healing items to befriend enemies. However, only one item can be used on enemies in the entire battle, and it's this part of Yokai Watch that I dislike the most. Having a yokai join you feels completely arbitrary. On so many occasions I discovered the yokai's favorite food and gave them the one that would increase their affection levels the most, and yet they would not join me. Sometimes I would feed one yokai and ignore the others, only to have the one I ignored actually want to be friends. It never felt like I had control of the process in any meaningful way, which is aggravating when certain quests require a specific yokai. At 10 hours into the game, I only had maybe 20 yokai of the more than 200 available, and a good chunk of those were from story sequences. Some of the best parts of a monster collecting game is collecting the monsters, and I could not do that. Yet the rest of the game stands out. The battles are fun and there is so much to do despite being limited to a single city. Springdale feels absolutely huge. Each area is filled with dozens of NPCs to talk to as well as places to explore. Quests can be found that give extra experience and money and helps flesh out the personalities of the various yokai. Each shop has its own inventory, which makes exploration necessary to find the best stuff. And there's a place where yokai can be fused together to make them even stronger. It all comes together to make the city feel like a real place, especially because every inch of this game is soaked in Japanese culture. From the yokai to the places to visit, to even just the food, it's a wonderfully complete recreation. And Yokai Watch is stuffed with little details that make the game quite impressive on the 3DS. Each area of the city feels unique compared to the rest. The city itself is filled with details to make it feel like a real city. Even the interiors have a lot of care put into them, not to mention the yokai designs that feel instantly memorable. The sound design is just as good. Every theme is really catchy and has a ghostly feel while staying chipper. It's a different kind of sound that stood out and I enjoyed. The little bit of voice acting in the game is good as well, though no single performance stood out to me. Its presentation is incredibly solid. Yokai Watch is difficult for me to pin down. Many of the things that it sets out to do, it does really well, but it feels like there's a caveat each time. I appreciate the fact that exploration is constantly encouraged and rewarded, but the city is so large that sometimes it feels like the backtracking for side quests can take forever even after obtaining a bike. The battles are consistently fun, especially against the boss yokai, but the process of obtaining yokai is incredibly tedious. In the end, I wish I enjoyed Yokai Watch more than I actually do. I still had fun with the game, but it never hooked me in any real way. I do think there's something special here, and maybe the game will pull you in. I think it has that ability. After all, I like the game, but the problems I had kept me from becoming truly enamored with it. If you're at all interested in the concept, then give it a try. There's certainly enough here to keep you busy for quite a while. Thanks for watching, and of course stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Yokai Watch and other things gaming.